It's your future. Take control of it. Here's author, businessman, Michael S. Robinson.
Hello, I'm Michael Robinson, President and CEO of Microbin Incorporated, parent company of microbinradio.com. I'm also author of the book 100 Pennies and talk show host every Saturday at 2 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer in New York City. I air every day on Microbin Radio. Just check out my shows. Download the app from the App Store or Google Play. Look for Microbin Radio. I'm very excited about this Saturday's show because we're going to be talking about a topic that affects everybody. Do you like your boss? My friends and I talk about that all the time. The bottom line is that there are oftentimes, I would say 80% of the times, 90% of the times, that we do not like our boss because there's a gap in communication. We do not like something the person might have said or something they might have done. We might have misinterpreted something that might have been said or done. So what we need to do is understand that communication is very important moving forward. Being able to identify what it is your boss is looking for from you and what your job description is evolving into, because the way it started out may not be the way it's evolving on a daily basis. So understanding how that job is evolving is important, and understanding how you can bring your best self to the job to make it even better. Every employer, and I am speaking for myself, I've been an employer for over 26 years, but I was also an employee for 2 years on Wall Street, working for one of the major leading financial institutions in the world. So I know what it's like to be an employee, and I know what it's like to deal with bosses that are difficult, and I know what it's like to deal with companies that are challenging and evolving and looking to get the best that they can from their employees. And sometimes it's really not fun. But you have to make it fun. You have to make it fun by understanding what it is that you need to do to be the best employee you can be, and be able to communicate that with your employer and be able to get feedback from him or her. So I say to you that every employer is just like you. We have the same feelings as you do, we have the same desires and expectations as you do, and we have the same wants as you do. So a lot of times when you have a question or uncertainty about what it is you're expected to do on a job, I say to you, don't be afraid to ask your employer, hey, how am I doing? What is expected of me? How is this job working for you as a boss? And you'll be surprised. A lot of employers want to know that you're interested and interesting in the job, because it opens the conversation or the dialogue to bring you into the narrative of their thought patterns. And that's what you want. You want to know what it is that he or she is seeing that he or she is not telling you, and communicate that to you. And sometimes, listen, the boss is so busy, or he's so frustrated, or she's so tired, or she is so overwhelmed, or sometimes she doesn't even know what is happening. So you have to go to the person and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. What are your thoughts? And you'll be surprised at how much that simple question can open up a dialogue that can make your job better and break down the bridge or the gap of miscommunication. The other thing you want to do is to be proactive about your job. Proactivity for me is one of the key things in managing my daily life. And what I mean by that is managing your time wisely, planning your days proactively, so when you go into the work, 9 o'clock in the morning, you have a schedule planned for your entire day. So by the time you leave your job at the end of the day, you would have had a list of things that you would have accomplished. And that gives you a sense of pride. And it shows your boss that you're thinking like an entrepreneur. Because in this day and age, we as employers are looking for our employees to be entrepreneurs, from the aspect of proactive management and thinking. We want you to be able to come up with ideas and come to us and say, hey, I listened to the news this morning and one of our competitors are doing XYZ, and I think we can do it better than they are. So you're bringing that competitive edge to the table, right? And your boss is recognizing that you're thinking and that you care about the company. And believe me, that goes a long way in engendering a certain sense of commitment to you as an employee and empowering you to be better or to even promote you on your job to do more or to do things that you probably like more, right? And I was thinking about it earlier that a lot of times on your job you have tasks that you don't really love, right? You can think of your day on a spectrum of 1 to 10, and there are high points where you love what it is you're doing, and there are low points where you're like, this is just not fun for me. You have to be able to navigate the times when you're not having fun. And you do that by planning, by being proactive about it, by finding a way of making the mundane fun. So when you do that, you bring that excitement to the job, you bring that sense of enthusiasm to the job, and guess what? It's infectious. People see it, they feel that you're engaged, they feel that you're interested. And when you bring that level of excitement, it's infectious. Your boss sees it, your colleagues see it, and your job becomes a little bit more interesting, exciting, and you build a bridge that probably you didn't have before with an employer or a boss that probably was not paying that much attention before. And sometimes when bosses are difficult, it's not that they're trying to intentionally make your life difficult. They have a lot of things on their agenda, to be working on. They have to make their departments or the company in general profitable. They have duties and responsibilities that expand beyond your job specs, right? So they have a lot on their plates that they're trying to navigate, and you have to recognize that maybe that is being translated in a conversation or a communication that you're misinterpreting. So try not to misinterpret things and try not to take things personally, because a lot of times when we personalize things, then they become a roadblock. We see that as an obstacle and the boss being difficult, but it may not be anything personal. So try not to be, too personal when it comes to taking things on that somebody says to you. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line is that we want to be able to make our companies productive. We want to be able to make our jobs fun. And we want to be able to build that bridge of communication between your boss and yourself. And if you don't understand something, ask questions. I say to people all the time, there are no stupid questions. I would rather you ask me a question than not. I would rather you bring me a solution than a problem. I would rather you make a mistake than be afraid to try. So those are 3 things you need to remember. Don't be afraid to ask questions, no stupid questions. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, you learn from them. And don't be afraid to try. It shows that you care. Join me on Saturday, 4 p.m., AM 970 The Answer in New York City. Find me on microbinradio.com. Download our app from the App Store or Google Play. I'm Michael Robinson. This is your time. Use it wisely.